say ditch this little boy right after picking him up from daycare.
Now, look at that person's mugshot. I'm going to rewind it back a little bit.
But first, a toddler, hand in hand with an adult who police say disappeared. Tonight, they're looking for the man they...
Now, the newscaster called this person here an adult. You could look at him and see that he's most likely around 20, 21 years old. There's not much difference between a 17-year-old and a 21-year-old, especially when you take into account how many of these so-called young black males are raised. As I've gone over numerous times on this channel, most of them are raised in households that exalt the feminine principle and demean the masculine principle. So he most likely was never taught about the dynamics between the man and the woman. He's just going along like a leaf in the wind, being carried about by his emotions. This is what makes so many of these cats so prone to losing their composure, losing their comportment when dealing with these females, because they don't understand that most of these females, they have a timeline in their relationships. It's all about how exciting they find the guy. They think that you're supposed to be some type of court jester, an ATM, and a sex toy. and when they start to get bored with that dynamic and they want to move on to someone else, they're not going to care about how well or how poorly you will have treated them or their child. They're going to move on. So you have to be prepared for that. Once again, so-called black man, you have to put the Most High first. The Most High is all that matters in this captivity. Not the liberal black woman, not anything in the flesh. You have to put the Most High first. The wisdom of the Most High is going to be our stability in these days, man. You're going to need that. Believe me. Believe me. And when you get involved in these different types of situations, these relationships with these females, you have to approach it very, very slowly. You cannot dive in head first. Once again, these females, when they get into new relationships, they're like kids on Christmas morning. They're all excited. They're all giggly. And then after a while, it starts to get monotonous to them. And most of these females do not like monotony. They cannot deal with it. They're not mature enough. The maturity has to come from you. It's not going to come from them. And as we know, the relationship paradigm in this society is capricious.
And they say ditch this little boy right after picking him up from daycare. He's not even 2 years old, and he was found abandoned and alone and outside a woman's home in Harlem. Good evening, everyone. I'm Maurice Dubois.
It's very obvious that that young cat, he has a lot of mental issues. And I'm sure that he does not even understand that he has mental issues, because once again, he's probably spent most of his life being raised in a very corrosive environment and never being taught exactly what propriety is. He's been taught to always act on his emotions, because that's what you learn if you're subjected to environments that have wholly feminine energy. The woman's decision making is always lacking because her decisions are based off of her emotions. Please understand that the prime mover of the woman is self-aggrandizement. In general, are there exceptions to that rule? Yes. But you'll commonly find most of those exceptions manifest themselves through the maternal DNA. Okay? But even nowadays, some of these females have been able to subvert the maternal DNA, and they're even sociopathic towards their own children.
And I'm Christine Johnson. We begin with that developing story and new details about what happened in the moments before the child was left.
CBS 2's Jessica Layton live tonight in Harlem with the story. Jessica.
Well, Christina, Maurice, that little